So, the title of being the kind presence in your life is it is similar to self-kindness or being kind to yourself, but it's not quite the same for me, at least. So I'll explain a bit the journey that I have done, that has characterized, at least in big steps, my own personal journey. And you may know the self-compassion course or the self-compassion books or the self-compassion concept. And in the self-compassion course, there are three main pillars. And the first one is self-kindness. And in fact, it's self-kindness instead of self-judgment. So we can say it is definitely connected, and that's where I started. So it was for me the search of really loving myself, accepting myself as I am, and allowing myself to be who I am right now at the moment. So when I have started, I have done a weekend course on self-compassion, and then I've read books. And so when I started, it was this experience of kindness, that I can be kind to myself. And of course, we have heard, I have heard many times, this comparison saying, if a dear friend comes to you and, maybe has done a mistake or he's not in a good mood, what do you do? Do you beat him up, or you kindly reassure them, or you kindly tell them reality? Sometimes we need to be direct and really say, okay, you've really lost this time, this is not okay, you need to understand what's going on. But it's done with love and kindness, and not with the sense of punishment or unworthiness or other sensation we might have about ourselves. So it has definitely started from there. Self-kindness versus self-judgment. And I'll talk about more a bit later. And the second pillar of self-compassion is common humanity instead of isolation, sense of isolation. And I feel this happens to everyone, but even more in a spiritual context where, common humanity means that I understand that every other human being like me has gone, is going, and will go through difficulties. And these can be different, sometimes similar, very similar. We don't know because we are all different, but we are all going through something. And what I see often in spiritual groups is that we tend to idealize, I don't know. We tend to see the teacher, for example, or the person in front of us sharing. In this case, it will be me. So I hope you don't do that with me. So we tend to see these people as beyond this human experience. So we tend to see everyone else like, oh, I am the only one failing. I am the only one that has this weakness. I am the only one that is struggling. I am the only failure I know. Everyone else is having a good life. They have no problems. And in spiritual groups, it comes as a spiritual struggle that can be, I don't know, I'm not able to have good meditation or good yoga, and then I'm like, they have good practice. Look at my yoga teacher, he's so good, she's so good. So in this idea, I am making myself feeling lonely because I am alone in the struggle. But reality is that I am not alone at all. In fact, I have so many companions around me that are going through exactly the same challenge. And I could open myself to share and take advantage of the sharing so that I can share my own point and others can benefit and I can benefit from their perspective. And so, very often we heard or we have this idea about the founder of the Brahma Kumaris, or the main, the head of the Brahma Kumaris, like Tati Janki that left the body, and others that are now have now taken on the task. But even to them, looking at them, we go, oh, look, they are perfect. And somehow we think that they have always been like that, and it's not the case for anyone, for no one. So we know there has been so many challenging and struggles when it all started in India. And then if I think about Tati Janki, she went abroad. She left India, she went to London, not even talking the language. And what she started, yes, I can have a lot of respect, and it can be very inspiring, but I need to acknowledge that there were challenges. She was told she was so strict for by so many, too strict. And we all do what we know when we have a problem. And so that what she knew at the time. And if there is this self-kindness and common humanity, then we can connect on a different level. And the third part, but it will come later, it's about being aware of what is going on, so that there is not an overreaction. So that there can be clarity, can be seen a bit as an detached observer, that I can see, okay, this is happening as if I am in the sky. I can see whatever is happening. I'm like, okay, I can deal with it and not overreact. So in this journey from self-kindness, the main thing that I've started to do and that I needed to do was acceptance. So when we see ourselves in a bad light, so we see only what we do wrong, or we see only what we don't do enough of, then sometimes, we are seeing only that part, and other times we just don't want to see it. Because if I constantly see only that part, it hurts. I'm constantly judging myself, criticizing myself, and I don't want to feel like that, really. So if I'm not able to face it, I will pretend it's not there. So that is when it becomes difficult, and it was very difficult for me, that when I couldn't admit my own mistakes. something was going on and it was clearly not the case, not appropriate what I was doing, but it was just too hard for me. Um, and and that is because I'd rather pretend nothing is happening than face it, because I wasn't able to accept it once I would see it. So in both scenarios, so either we are pretending or we are seeing too much of what's not okay. So in both scenarios, for me, I needed to accept. So I started to accept what I could see, and then I started to accept also that I would pretend not to see. And so I would more easily acknowledge my mistakes if they happened. And together with this, with the acceptance, when I've started with the acceptance, it was a very strong practice. Every time I would find myself in a critical voice towards me, I would just sit down and I'm like, I accept what I've done. I accept who I am. I accept how I have reacted. So in that practice, I have discovered, and I also had to embrace the non-judgment thinking. And it took a while, because it's a way of seeing everything. Some people call it non-duality. So in my profession, I am becoming a naturopath. I only have the discussion of the thesis left. So I am doing apprenticeship, so I'm seeing clients. And in my studies, it was very clear that anyone can come to you as a client. So anyone can come to me, and when someone comes to me, it's because they need help. Okay, and it can come. I can receive a person that has done a lot of wrong, and if I'm not in the non-dual experience, I will judge them. And in that case, I won't be able to help them, because they won't open up, they won't receive my advice as valuable. So that was much needed, to just go beyond judgment. And in that case, I experienced as if there is no wrong and right. If I have made a choice to go left or to go right, I may regret the choice, but it wasn't wrong. So, I've decided to go left, and then after a while, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have gone right. But I don't experience it anymore as a mistake rather than just a choice. So I've chosen to have that type of experience, and now I can choose to have a different one. And so it's no more black and white. It's just colored. It's like, this is blue and maybe I want green, and then it's not right or wrong, but it's, what do I want, and what's okay for me at the moment. Because even then, we are in constant change. So how can I tell myself, this is what you have to do in this way, in these timings for the rest of your life? I cannot do that, because I am constantly changing and I need to respect that. So then for me it became clear that I had to know myself and I had to know what I want right now so that I can make the right decision for me at the right time. So it's not the right decision of my life, but it's about now. So I'm reading a comment. We tend to dwell on the negative. Yes. It requires for us to believe that everyone, without exception, is doing the best we can given our circumstances and resources. Yes, I agree. Um, yeah, yeah. Uh, this helped me a lot, for example, dealing with the relationship with my parents and then with myself. Whatever I've done in the past was the best I could have done. I didn't know better. And even if I did, I couldn't act on it. So it was the best I could have done. And I'm still doing the best. So there is this kind of acceptance. So for me, acceptance was a big step towards being the kind presence in my life. The acceptance of not wrong and not right. The acceptance of the whole picture, not just what I like, everything. And sometimes in my head, I would wonder, what if I accept something that is actually hurting me? Then that is counterproductive, because then I may become, sluggish. And in reality, what happened was the opposite. Once I have accepted that part of me, I just felt free to choose what I needed. And if that wasn't what I needed because it was hurting me, then I would more easily choose what was fit for me at the moment. So there was no way around, acceptance was the way. And so I took that way. And so acceptance and judgment was a big thing. And yeah, so then there is this whole idea of kindness. So now I started to notice more, how would I talk to myself, and what attitude and what voice would I use, and how would I see myself? What's the vision I hold for myself? And it was very harsh sometimes, because I can be very tough, and I can be very tough also with my close friends. So it's something that I appreciate about myself. But with me, there was less love, and there was less respect, probably, and less boundaries. It's like I could have done anything to me, whereas there is a boundary of respect and love. So I've started to have this conversation within me, so that whenever I needed something, whether it was to be comforted or to hear a friend voice, then I was there for me. And so self-kindness to me is not just about being kind to myself as I am being kind to others. It's about being there for me. Because being kind to the self or to others could easily become what's the word? sorry, um, hypocrite. Um, so that the real feeling towards me is you are a failure. And then I'm telling myself, it's okay, it's okay. But it doesn't work. And I can do the same with others. I can practice kindness, but there is no kindness in the heart. So we are so hard on ourselves. I now speak to myself as I would to my daughter or my best friend. Yes. Yes. I work with children, and it is a really good practice. The idea I have when I say I need to be there for myself, I want to be there for myself, is that because I've accepted who I am in the whole, I am there all the time, anytime. I am the only person that is around, because it's me, the whole time. And how can I let aside even one tiny bit of myself? How can I do that? Who am I to say this is not worth to see or it's not worth to take care of, And as we do with children, it's not that when they have a tantrum, we go, okay, I don't want to deal with that. Do it yourself, No, it's actually in that time that they need the most attention and they need the most kindness and they need the most understanding and the most love, after all. So, um, so we need to apply that, and kindness has an energy. So this is what I was saying, we cannot fake it. It has an energy. And to me, to explore and live that energy, I had to go through forgiveness, through real appreciation of who I am, and dealing with my past as well. So that the vision and how I see myself is a new way. Um, Everything is towards kindness, or towards the energy of kindness, not just as a practice, but as a real experience. And one aspect is that, what I was saying is that if I'm leaving something out, if I love myself, but only one part, and I'm leaving another out, I'm losing a lot. And sometimes we just close down a whole section because of something very, very small, and we just miss out on the whole section. So it takes courage to just face whatever I feel shame about, whatever I feel guilty about, and time to embrace it. So it's not just accepting, it then became embrace it and welcoming. So I wasn't only accepting my tantrums, with the example of the kids, I was also welcoming them. It's like, yes, you can do it. You are in a safe space with me where you can throw the worst tantrum of your life, and I'll still be here to love you and hold space for you. And the idea of being the self presence in my life came because very often we expect to receive this treatment from our family, relatives, friends, partners, children sometimes. And it's not always the case. So teaching to be kind to one another is a good thing. But when I think about I'm going to be kind to others, I'm also expecting, unconsciously maybe, that they are going to be kind to me. And they might be kind to me, but they might not be offering what I need. And in my own experience, even when they were offering what I needed, I wasn't able to receive it because I wasn't open to that love or that experience. So both scenarios don't work unless I do the job. So in this experience of expecting from others to treat me with kindness, with love, with full acceptance, it's a high demand, and it's hard to do it, even for me to do it with someone else. I've learned to do it myself. To do it to someone else, it's harder. So how can I expect that from someone else outside of me? And it's great when this happens naturally. It's a huge fortune when this happens, that there is a connection, and in that moment I feel taken care of, I feel nurtured, I feel loved. It's great. But it's not something that's always there or will be always there. So I was like, but I can have it. I can have that experience anyway. And so I really went into the road of being that person for myself, being that present kind presence in my life. And how can I be that? It means that I am responsible for my life. It means that I am free because I am not waiting or in need, but everything is in my hands, on my hands. And yeah, it's on me. It's on me. So within the Brahma Kumaris, we also have the practice of Raja Yoga, which is the connection with the Supreme. And this whole experience of myself has completely changed also the experience with the Supreme, because whatever painful experience I had, I would also project that onto the divine, which has nothing to do with that really. So I have a lot to offer to myself, but I also have a supreme source that, it could be the divine, you can call it the universe, the elements. We all have a source because we live here and we're clearly not alone. So there is this aspect of being that person for myself. And it may sound like a big responsibility, but it is actually a beautiful journey of really loving myself, where I reach the point of really enjoying my own company and enjoying it also when there are tantrums or, difficulties, or it's not a great mood or other things. And this has allowed me to feel free to be myself, even around others. So, this whole journey of acceptance, non judgment, self kindness, having this welcoming attitude towards myself has helped me to be who I am, to have the courage of being myself, even with other people around me. And this means that I was able to do it because now, if I make a mistake, it's easier to, accept it and acknowledge it. If there is, I have accepted and embraced so many parts of myself that it doesn't really matter if they are welcomed by other people now, because there is such a strong energy of being safe around many aspects of myself that it's okay. There are many more aspects to go with, but it's a journey. So, going back to the experience of being this kind presence in my life means that I'm here. I'm here for myself. And I am here as a kind presence, not as a punishing one, And this is a big relief, being used to be tough or hard on myself. It's a big relief because I give myself the time, I give myself the space, and if I get sluggish, which can happen, I get told off. I have friends and relatives and they know me and we have a very open relationship. So if something is off, I get the message. I don't really need to worry if there are no problems, because if something is not working, it will be clear that it's not working. So for the moment, until it's clear it's not working, I prefer to enjoy and being kind. And when something needs to be changed, then I'll face it with love. It can be disciplined also, but with this embracing energy. So the kids don't use masks. We should be kind with ourselves. Yes. I have found that I needed to be accepted by a loving presence on some aspect before I could accept myself. I found that a loving presence is very important. Has this also been your experience? Yes. This is something that is not quite clear, but I was like, it is my experience in a way. I was lucky enough to really feel to be loved. This presence of this loving presence might not have been exactly what I needed in terms of kindness and caring and nurturing, but I have experienced to be loved, to really be loved and accepted. And that has definitely helped when I was then in the process of accepting myself and loving myself. And so we can definitely use the experiences we have of being loved as a um, as a example. I don't know. So I did an exercise where I embraced every part of my body. I had a long Epsom salt bath, and I went through every part of my body, thanking it individually and acknowledging what it did for me. This is very beautiful. In fact, in the first course of the self compassion, that was when I had the kindness experience, that she was like, you need to hug yourself and really, cuddle yourself. So it is very important to do it with the body as well. Regarding to the experience of love, I have personally had a really powerful experience practicing the inner child exercise, which you can look it up. And in that exercise, I was able to use the experience of being loved that was there anyway, because I have experienced it, and give it to my inner child. And so, because I had experienced it as an adult, now I was able to give it to my inner child, fill up those gaps, and then the inner child became healthy. And so what I feel now is that we are like a team. It's not like, fighting or one in a lot of need, but we are like a team. We are both there for each other in this exercise of the inner child and the adult. So, yeah, that is also what I have done. Okay, I think we can have a meditation. Maybe you want to share more exercises or insights or whatever you want to share. And the idea for the meditation is to really experience this kind presence. Okay. Okay, so we can just start. I ask you to relax and stop doing anything else. So if there is something ongoing, maybe just pause it and really start being present for the meditation and for yourself. So I can start relaxing my body. I relax completely. If there is any tension in the body, I let go. I can, in fact, even touch every part of my body. If I'm seated in a cross-legged position, I can reach to hold my body from being seated. So I can just caress the body, being aware of how lucky I am to be in such a body. Sorry. So I'm present. This is a time I am giving myself. I am present. I am here for me. I am present. I feel the presence of the body as well, the space it takes, and the energy of the body. And my energy within the body. I feel grounded, rooted, present. And now I visualize myself. I can see a picture of me. How am I in this picture? How do I look like? What do I see? Is that how I see myself? Do I like what I'm seeing? Have I embraced what I'm seeing? Am I really as the picture that came in front of me? Or is that just my own perception? Still looking at this picture, I connect to a space of love within me. The love I would have for my children, for some members of my social group or family, maybe for my animals. So I connect to this space of love. And from this space, I now look again at this picture. I look with the eyes of love, and I can love even those parts that I didn't appreciate before. I accept what I see. I accept. And I even embrace it. I can visualize to actually have myself in front of me, and I'm going to hug that self I have pictured, and I embrace her. I embrace it. And from this acceptance and welcoming of myself comes a strong energy. I feel energized. I have stopped hiding some parts, so I am more present. I am more whole. There is so much within these parts of myself that I don't want to see, don't want to accept or embrace. They are actually so powerful, useful, and they are, after all, part of me. And I want to know the whole of me, not just one side. I'm not just being kind to myself. I am present with this kind energy for myself. I am here for myself, and I'm ready to look at myself differently. With love, I will continue to embrace more pieces. With time, understanding, and patience, I will feel more whole and myself. I have all I need. And I take with me the energy of this hug, the hug of self-love, of self-kindness, the hug of self-acceptance. With the experience of being happy for who I am today, right now, with the vision of a brighter future, of a more loving presence in my life, with love, kindness, and patience. I'll go far to be whole and feel free to be who I am. And I continue my day with this kind experience, with this kind attitude towards me, and maybe towards others too. Thank you. I hope I saw your thankful note. Thank you. I hope it was a nice encouragement to love yourself and be kind to yourself and be present for yourself. And yes, I think also, as I think Marco said, yes, that when this experience, when I'm feeling loved and I'm able to accept myself more, but also when I have loved, I can use that same energy to love myself. Thank you. I'm glad it was a powerful experience. Okay, I'll leave the word to Radha.
Yes, in fact, thank you very much, Beatrice, for this very gentle and yet powerful experience of meditation, and also the words coming from your personal experience are always, it's always very powerful to hear that. So thank you very much. And thank you for everyone present here as well.
And thank you for having me.
I think we'd like to have you again. Okay, anyway, I will stop here and wish you a very good afternoon. So thank you very much.
Thank you all. And Beatrice, you are great, very deep.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye, Radha.
Thank you very much, Radha and Beatrice. Thank you.